A day is approaching where the sky will darken, birds will stop singing, and our shadows will look different. I'm not talking about the end of days, but the 2017 total eclipse of the sun. University of Missouri astrophysicist Dr. Angela Speck is anxiously awaiting the big event. As our guest for this week, Dr. Speck gets us ready and puts the rarity of this event in perspective.
So the last time there was a total solar eclipse in Missouri was 1869. And to see that, you had to be up in like Hannibal, that area. The last one over Columbia was 1442.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a pretty big event.
This is a big event.
And this is, again, everyone's talking about going to Nashville, but Columbia is not going to be a bad place to be at all.
Right. So there's, I mean, the path actually extends all the way from Oregon to South Carolina. We're right in the middle. The longest duration is actually just to the east of us, at the border of Illinois and Kentucky. They get 2 minutes 41 here in seconds. We get 2 minutes and 37.
In case we have some young people or me watching, the sun, the moon, the earth.
That's right. So what happens is we have the moon comes between us and the sun, and that actually kind of happens every month if you think about the moon going round, but normally it's not exactly in line. So you have the moon kind of offset, and twice a year it gets exactly in between. So twice a year you get an eclipse somewhere on the planet, but the shadow is small, and so you have to be in exactly the right spot to see it. So we actually had an eclipse this year, but you had to be in Indonesia or somewhere in the Pacific to see it.
Right.
Last year it was the Arctic Ocean between Norway and the North Pole.
And what's the rule with it being a new moon?
It has to be a new moon in the sense that, you know, what we see of the sun, of the moon is dependent on where it is relative to the sun. So if you're the sun and I'm the earth and the moon is here, you're lighting up this side, I can't see it. And when it's here, you're lighting up this side and I can only see half of it. And so we have this lining up, and so it always has to be a new moon when it's a total eclipse of the sun. And it has to be a full moon for a lunar eclipse.
We have science to back a lot of this up, but there was a time we didn't have it. What was that like when an event like this would happen?
So actually, it's not that long ago. So you can imagine that it gets dark. So first of all, you probably wouldn't notice if you weren't looking at the sun, and it's hard to look at the sun. You shouldn't look at the sun until it actually gets dark. And then it's going to go from being like a twilightish darkness, and you might think, oh, there's a storm coming, how it gets a little bit darker, and then suddenly it's full moon darkness. You can imagine how terrifying that would be. Even today, if somebody doesn't know about it and it happens, I can imagine crashing a car, for instance, if it suddenly gets dark like that. And then once it's dark, you can see the atmosphere of the sun, which is always there, but we just can't see it because the sun is so bright. And so it looks like there's this stuff coming off the sun that we never see, and people freak out about it.
Maybe it's solar flares, the end of time.
Right,
something.
exactly. And so, but there's still a lot of myths about what's going on. So the things that we can see during an eclipse are always there, just the sun is so bright it stops us from seeing them normally. So you can see stars during the day, things like that. But also that gas around the sun that we get to see, it's actually really hot, and it's emitting X-rays and ultraviolet light, and people are like, oh, that's going to kill us. Well, it doesn't, because the atmosphere gets in the way.
Right.
But you can imagine how there's this sort of, oh, we never see that, so it's not normally there. And, oh, it's throwing X-rays at us. That's kind of scary. So even when, you know, the last one was on US soil in 1979, there were kids hiding under desks in rooms with blackout curtains because there were so many myths about how scary it is.
And when you're in that path of totality, that's the umbra, is that?
That's right. So umbra, it just means dark.
Okay.
And then if while you're in the partial phase, you're in the penumbra, which is the nearly dark. And so yeah, it's called the umbra, and that's the very darkest spot. And if you're there, you cannot see the main part of the sun at all.
You have big plans for next August.
We have huge plans. I mean, basically, I want the entire country to see this. We want as many people to see totality as possible, and even if they can't come to Columbia or wherever, we want them to see the partial phase. But for Columbia, Columbia Public Schools is already preparing. They've already got the Eclipse classes. I want to make sure every single person here has these glasses that allow you to see the eclipse safely. When it's fully eclipsed, it's safe to look at. It's not dangerous.
When it's fully eclipsed.
But during the partial, as the moon is moving into place, it is not safe. It's going to damage your eyes, so you need eclipse glasses. So, you know, making sure that we have those to everybody, and then we're going to have maps of town basically showing you all the places that you could be. There are going to be so many people that come to town. We're going to have multiple places that we have events. And so there's going to be lots going on. I'm hoping we're going to have some art competitions and things like that, maybe some band competitions too. We're still working on some of those. There's going to be some new music written. I'm working with not only the music department at MU, but a Hollywood musician who has done music for Family Guy and things like that, and he's all excited about writing music for this, and so
wow,
it's going to be cool.
It's going to be a scored event.
It's going to be a scored event.
And for all the extraterrestrials that could be picking up our signal somewhere, this would be a really great, surprising time to make an appearance, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's like, you know, people are going to be surprised anyway, so if you want to show up, you could catch us by surprise very easily.
Dr. Angela Speck, we're going to have you on again as we build up to this, but thank you for coming by and talking to us about it.